Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Aisha Subarkash. After 3.5 years, Qatar has been brought back into the regional fold. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain and Egypt have ended their disastrous blockade, which failed to achieve any of the goals it was set out to. The reconciliation, which was reached in the Saudi city of Al Ula, saw the leaders of the Gulf countries come together for the first time in years. But behind the handshakes and warm messages lie many of the problems that sent the region into crisis. In June 2017, the Saudi-led bloc drew up a list of demands on Qatar, which included ending its support for the Muslim Brotherhood, shutting down Al Jazeera and closing a Turkish military base. None of those concessions were made. When an economic and travel embargo was imposed by the anti-Doha bloc, Turkey stepped in to provide support with food shipments and other aid. But now restoring regional stability is the priority not only for Ankara, but other Gulf nations as well. Already there is talk about lowering tensions between Turkey and key Arab states, with Qatar possibly playing a mediating role. Could the end of the blockade provide an opportunity for a regional reset? Or is it too soon to know if deep-seated differences can be overcome? And to answer that, joining me now from Turkestan is Cengiz Tomar. He is the rector at Akhmet Yassawi University. And from Doha, Ali Bakir, he is an assistant professor at the Ibn Khaldon Center at Qatar University. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Now that the blockade is over, what's next for the region, Cengiz? And is it possible for things to return back normal quickly, given the tense atmosphere that engulfed the region for over 3 years?
I think so. It is good for Qatar, and also it is a win for Qatar, and it is good for Turkey as well. I mentioned that there was a front against Turkey in the region. This is southern front, and Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and then Egypt, and also Israel and Greece. And right now is good, especially for the region, Gulf countries. Now the rifts between the Gulf countries is going, but also good for Turkey because there was a block there in Gulf countries, and it is leaving as well. It means that for Qatar and Turkey is very good. Very good.
We're going to get into that
position.
In a minute. But Ali, on the surface, it seems Qatar did not give any major concessions. So what do you think? What's the reasoning behind this reconciliation? And also, what could you tell us about its timing?
Thank you very much for hosting me. First, regardless of the details of the reconciliation, I need to stress the fact that it is a very positive, much needed step in the right direction. I think that states will probably need some time to adapt to the new reality. I believe that when it comes to timing, of course, Biden winning the US elections was pretty much determining factor in this issue. The pressure that came also from Trump administration on certain Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE to resolve the Gulf crisis was also important factor in this issue. Of course, not all countries were happy because Qatar had not surrendered to any of their conditions. Of course, Qatar emerged victorious in this new settlement. Probably Abu Dhabi was not happy of the reconciliation, and Saudi Arabia had its own reasons to go for this reconciliation process. So all in all, I think that it is a very positive step, and Qatar emerged victorious. Saudi Arabia is benefiting from it, and other countries had to just adapt to the new reality, such as UAE and Bahrain.
Yes.
So this is the situation right now, and we will see how things will move on from now on.
Okay. Cengiz, you just briefly mentioned, but what does this reconciliation mean for Turkey? And could this agreement alter Qatar's relations with Turkey or reset relations in the region?
Yes, there's a reset of the relations in the region in general, in a whole. But also it is very important for Turkey because Qatar was our strategic partner in Gulf, and also Turkey has played a major role in the ending of crisis by standing beside Qatar from the beginning up to end, and Turkey can normalize and maybe repair some kind of some relations with Gulf countries, especially with Saudi Arabia is a pivot country and very important country with Egypt in Arab world, and also some type of good relations with UAE, Emirates.
Yes.
And also it improve the relations between Gulf countries. There are Oman and Qatar and Kuwait. There are different policy in Gulf countries, but United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia in a different way.
Yes.
And maybe they can get close with this very good improvement in the relations.
So, Ali, the UAE, which was the most committed more than any other Arab Gulf countries to confronting Turkey, has recently expressed willingness to normalize ties with Ankara. Has it had a change of heart in its regional policies, let's say in Syria, Libya, or Somalia?
Well, we have been hearing Emirati officials calling for normalization of relations with Turkey lately, and this is, of course, a direct result of the reconciliation process in the GCC between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. But for Ankara, I believe that Turkish officials will need to see concrete measures and actions taken from Abu Dhabi rather than rhetoric in order to take such statements seriously. Now, whether this new development in the GCC will have implications on the Gulf region and also beyond, I personally believe that it has the potential to reshape the balance of power in the region, and it will lead to political implications. It will help bridge the gap between Saudi Arabia and Turkey. It will constrain UAE's destructive policies in places such as Syria, Libya, Somalia, and probably elsewhere. So this is, of course, a positive development for Turkey. It will also help countries such as Kuwait, Oman, Jordan, Morocco, and Pakistan to feel much more relaxed and to have more space in their foreign policy to maneuver. And this is also a good development for Ankara because they probably push for better relations with Turkey. And finally, the reconciliation process will allow countries that feel threatened more from Iran's regional policies to focus on countering Tehran malicious activities in the coming period, in my opinion.
So, Cengiz, what do you make of the olive branch offered to Turkey by Saudi Arabia? Can Riyadh build stronger relationships with Turkey without undermining the Turkey-Qatari alliance?
No, it is impossible, with Qatar and Turkey now they are strategic allies and partners. I think all of things related to Biden government and Iranian threat, and now there is a new set of politics in the region after normalization some of Gulf countries with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia right now needs Turkey, and if they want to improve relations with Turkey, they need Qatar as well, because these three countries are very important in the whole of region. And also we should add Egypt to these countries in order to make some reconciliation and easing the policy in the Middle East. And now, as the Biden government is coming, this is totally different man from Trump. Trump was Israeli-based policies he used to use in the region, and also Biden is easing the policy towards Iran. And right now, Saudi Arabia needs Turkey and to improve the relations between Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Maybe in the future, Egypt.
So has the Saudi Arabia and the UAE alliance's failure in Yemen, Ali, got anything to do with this rapprochement, or is it solely linked with the incoming Biden presidency?
Personally, I don't believe that it's linked to the reconciliation process in between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, but certainly there is a divergent interest between Saudi Arabia and UAE as states. But what the relation will of Mohammed bin Salman and Mohammed bin Zayed is in a problematic manner right now. This is something to be seen later. Usually, this kind of relation between the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince helped to bridge the gap between the different and contrasting interests between Saudi Arabia and UAE in the past. But for now, we are seeing this gap is widening, whether it is when it comes to the Saudi-Qatari recent reconciliation, or when it comes to the Saudi interest in Yemen, or even Saudi interest in Syria. A few days ago, we heard the Saudi foreign minister putting more pressure on Assad regime. So this is, of course, not suitable for UAE. We will see how these developments will end up in the coming few weeks. This will depend on how Saudi Arabia will act when it comes to interests related to other countries such as Turkey in the region.
So, Cengiz, what's at stake for Crown Prince MBS when Biden took office? Would he prefer to remain under his father, the king's shadow, during this transition period?
I think so, yeah. Now King Salman is becoming more important after the 3 years of problems in Saudi Arabia policy with Emirates, especially in Yemen, in Libya, in Syria, in other region. And right now, I think in Biden government, and we will see more Salman effects, King Salman effects. Saudi Arabian policy more than Mohammed bin Salman, because he did, I think, a lot of mistakes, especially for Saudi Arabia. And also there is a difference between, there's a rift, some kind of right now between United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, and we can feel and we can see this difference right now.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
The Horn of Africa has long been a battleground for great powers, and it's often been in the crosshairs of terrorist groups. Turkey, over the years, has worked with countries like Somalia to ensure not only stability in the region, but also to boost the free flow of trade. That close relationship has also branched out in the military sphere, as Haidar Abbasi explains.
A suicide bombing in the heart of Somalia's capital. At least 5 people were killed in this attack in November. It's this kind of violence that Somalia's military has been preparing for, and it's getting help from a close ally. Turkey is investing heavily in training and developing Somalia's military. Ankara's biggest overseas military base is in Mogadishu. This summer, around 2,500 Somali soldiers were trained by Turkish military officers. And the aim is to boost this number to 10,000. These soldiers are sent to Turkey, where they undergo elite military training. It includes instruction in commando and special operations, counter-terrorism, and urban warfare. Somali troops receive their training in Turkish after completing an intensive language program. They even take their oath in Turkish. Turkey's policy is not only about having a forward base in Somalia, but also building up an ally in a vital country in the Horn of Africa. Turkey's military has a presence in Somalia, Libya, and most recently, Niger. But Ankara also maintains strong economic and developmental ties with many other countries in Africa. Trade with the continent was valued at only $5.4 billion in 2003, but it reached more than $26 billion in 2019. One example of Turkey's investment in Africa is the seaport in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. In October, the Turkish company Al Bayrak signed a 14-year contract with Somalia to continue operating the port. The port is vital for producing revenue for Somalia's government and jobs for its people. The management of the Mogadishu port will help to improve trade, increase customs revenue, and support the Somali economy, which is heavily dependent on foreign imports. Turkey has great ambitions in Africa. Its foothold in the continent is only expected to expand. Haider Abbasi, Straight Talk.
And joining me now from Portsmouth is Mohammed Ibrahim Shire. He is a lecturer on security risk management at Portsmouth University. And from New York, Mehmet Ozkan. He's a senior fellow at the Center for Global Policy, a think tank based in Washington. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Mohammed, could you walk us through the current situation of Turkey-Somalia relations?
Well, Turkey-Somali relations seems to have entered a new phase where they're trying to renegotiate the partnership that they had for the last 10 years. Remember, Turkey's visit in Somalia in 2011 was quite pivotal. It somehow removed Somalia from international isolation, and Turkey's upgrade from just purely humanitarian aid somehow evolved into a comprehensive strategy where it aimed at revitalizing Somalia's institutions. So currently, the way the partnership works when it comes to Somalia and Turkey, it's quite good. It works. Turkey's model seems to be doing wonders compared to previously failed models implemented by international actors that had a stake in Somalia.
Yes. So why is Somalia so strategically vital for Turkey and other countries? Mehmet, why is a stable and successful Somalia matters for Ankara?
Because, if you look at the Ankara's policy towards Africa, you can see that Africa policy started perhaps 2000, 2003, and since 2005, it intensified. But Somalia has been a threshold for Turkey's being a security and political actor in Africa. So that's why it's key. That's why Turkey focused in the Horn of Africa as a regional order. As you know, the regional order has been breakdown since early 1990s. Then that's the loss of problem. Now, even today, we can see domestic problems in Ethiopia, Renaissance Dam issue between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan, and internal issues in Somalia. So the regional order is very important. That's why Turkey focused on the regional order in security. As the author mentioned, Turkey has been a developmental actor before. Now it's a security and political actor. So for a regional order, Turkey focused on those things. That's why it also makes Turkey a political actor in Africa in a great detail.
Yeah. So, Mohammed, in October last year, a Turkish company signed a 14-year contract to operate Mogadishu port. Can you talk about the significance of this deal and how it will help Turkey's trade ties not only with Somalia, but with the greater East African region as a whole?
Well, I think it's quite important because remember that Turkey has adopted a somodel of peace through prosperity, where it invested heavily in Somalia's infrastructure and institutions. When it comes to Somalia renegotiating its deal with Al Barak company in managing its port, it's quite significant because it also signifies that Somalia has upgraded its economic status. Remember, they had a recent partial debt relief. So it signifies quite a new era, a new phase. Mm-hmm. And also that company, Al Barak, has quite a strong track record. And Somalia, especially the Somali federal government, is keen on maintaining that relationship with these type of companies.
And Mehmet, on January the 2nd, there was a terror attack in Mogadishu in which 5 people, including 2 Turkish nationals, were killed. How important it is now for Turkey and Somalia to deepen their anti-terror cooperation and military training to confront groups like Al-Shabaab, which claimed responsibility for the attack?
Turkey has been focusing on 2 things in Somalia. When you look at first to support local actors to take care of its country's destiny. Second, to fight with terrorism, especially with Al-Shabaab. That's why Turkey has been training Somalian military since 2016, 2017, and today around more than 1,500 people, Somalian military has been trained. That's why Turkey focused on the military dimension. that's why Al-Shabaab attacks on Turkish people as well. It has been same case before when Shabaab attack on Turkish embassy in previous years. So the security dimension has always been important. That's making Turkey as a target, but at the same time, that makes Turkey's contribution more significant and more important if really we want a regional order and the domestic stability in Somalia.
So, Mohammed, what kind of a threat does Al-Shabaab terror organization pose to Somalia and the region? And how do you think it could be dealt with? Dialogue?
Yes, but when it comes to Al-Shabaab obviously is still quite potent. It's still quite potent insurgent group that has been actively destabilizing Somalia to a large degree. But when it comes to dealing with Al-Shabaab, I don't think the military solution is entirely appropriate. I think there has to be some kind of dual strategy where some sort of dialogue or negotiation is pursued. And by that, I mean not just direct negotiation, but having some kind of informal talks. And I've said this as well previously in my academic research, where I talk about using informal actors or traditional actors in trying to establish some kind of pre-negotiation talks with Al-Shabaab, trying to understand what they want and try to also present what the Somali government wants when it comes to dealing with Al-Shabaab. And having that discussion is quite important. That can perhaps upgrade to a formal negotiation discussion.
Mm-hmm. So, Mehmet, what do you make of Somalia's recent offer to Turkey to explore offshore oil reserves? Is it likely to create tensions in the region?
It could be because, if you look at the region, everybody's building their military base in the Horn of Africa. But also, if that offer has been taken as a bilateral cooperation, also helping Somalia to build its own economy, that would be good one. And especially when the issues has been intensified in the Eastern Mediterranean region, and I think that would be interesting one. But let's see what happens. What will be Turkey's response, and whether there will be good cooperation. But eventually, if there is economy, if something has been discovered in that area, I think that would be beneficial, principally for Somalians and Somalian economy.
So, Mohammed, how could reduced tensions in the Gulf impact Turkey's policies in the Horn? How could a normalization, for example, in Turkey and the United Arab Emirates ties reflect on Somalia's security, stability, and road to peace, maybe?
Well, the thing is, when it comes to the United Arab Emirates, the normalization can be beneficial. Remember, there was some tensions in 2014, 2015, when there was the Gulf diplomacy crisis. But it was also quite beneficial for Turkey in trying to strengthen its presence in Somalia by improving the security and by improving this infrastructure. When it comes to normalization, I believe that Somali's external actors don't have a stake in Somalia can be quite detrimental. I believe many countries need to adopt Turkey's model of when it comes to engaging Somalia, but not actively contributing or not actively engaging with the local politics on the ground. Mm-hmm. And having that model is quite important, especially when it comes to for Somalia to restore its status as a strong state.
So, Mehmet, from a broader perspective, help us understand Turkey's engagement in Africa and how it is different than, let's say, France, the US, Russia, China, and many others.
Look, compared to other countries, especially France and others, Turkey doesn't have a background in especially colonial background in Africa. But Turkey entered the continent first as a humanitarian and developmental actor. Then it became a security and political actor. But the main difference between their involvement and Turkey's involvement is that Turkey does not take side in local politics. Yes. Turkey supports local politicians to take their own destiny. That's the main interest. But the other countries, sometimes they are dictating some policy and even enforcing some people to lead the country. That's the main difference. Turkey try to establish a win-win relation at the same time, a mutually beneficial relations without destroying their autonomy or their independence in terms of deciding on acting.
So, Mohammed, how long it takes before we see a stable, peaceful, and a prosperous Somalia?
Well, hopefully, in my lifetime. But I think the way things are going is quite good. I think the fact that Somali security forces are being strengthened, their capacity strengthened, the fact that Turkey is aiming to train 1/3 of the Somali security forces is a quite good thing. Security-wise, Somalia is improving, albeit at a slow, steady pace, because remember, AMISOM is ending its mandate in 2021. So I'm quite hopeful that Somalia has the necessary capacity and the level of resilience in maintaining its security after the AMISOM leaves.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk. And that's all for this edition of Straight Talk with me, Aisha Subarkash. If you've got any comments, follow us and tweet us at Straight Talk TRT. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye.